So that was the reason. And then I like, on a poetic level, I like the idea of taking the Fenno-Scandinavian Finnish melancholy, the kind of sad music, into a place where that kind of music doesn't exist, and hopefully bringing those two worlds together. And I think that we succeeded very well. Like what Depeche Mode do so well. What they do is they have very tragic and sad songs,
Yeah.
but people still dance to them, and they still party to them. And that was the kind of, we wanted to have a rock and roll album that would hopefully do the same. You know, being like a kick in the butt, but at the same time, hopefully make you think, and you can, be a bit sentimental when listening to it.
And if you would have to describe Screamworks in just 4 or 5 words, I mean, you described it in so many, what would be the essential that comes out for you?
4 or 5 words.
Can you use 6 also?
I don't know whether the is a word or not.
No, it doesn't count as a word.
Well, I think it's the well, let's say I have to use longer sentences. Well, I could say it's the best rock album of this decade, which is kind of easy because the decade has just started. So I'm kind of like saying myself. But then again, it sets the bar pretty high. So I think I think I'd call it anti-chauvinistic rock. So it's rock directed at everybody and every individual of all religions and all faiths and all political views, whatever. Because one thing that is common in the world is love and relationships, and how hard and how forgiving and how nice they can be occasionally. So maybe I could call it universal rock.
And Heartkiller is the first single. And I read on your homepage that you recently shot the video. Is that right?
We just got it done about a week ago.
And you're every day you're publishing a new photo, it seems. Can you tell us a bit more?
Well, I'm not publishing any photos, That's
but
the label.
it's always like a sneak peek for your fans. Another photo.
That's the way of the world nowadays with the internet and all that. The video was directed by a guy from the UK called James Copeman, a young guy he's done a lot of interesting stuff. Just Google his name and his guy's website, and you can see some of his stuff. And what I liked about his idea for Heartkiller was the fact that I like simple graphic things. Not meaning violent things, but graphically, I love graphic design. So I like simplicity of logos and stuff like that. So I like the fact that he wanted the band to perform in a dark room where you couldn't see the room. It's just a studio room, lit in blue and red, like kind of like old school negatives in a way. And then using taxidermy, stuffed animals in the post-production, moving the same way as the band does, and then having a really sweet and beautiful looking model doing the poses of the animals as well. So it's kind of David Lynch. But then again, it's not scary, at least not for me, and it's a fairly basic performance video of me singing the song and the band playing their instruments. But it's visually really, I like the simplicity. You gotta see it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's tough to explain it in words because there's no plot. Because I think that after Michael Jackson's Thriller, there's no reason to do videos with plots. And then, since it's the genre of rock and roll, we don't get the butts of R&B or the jewelry of R&B.
And what are the plans for the near future? I read that you're doing an extreme big tour everywhere.
Well, that's what bands do. They always you have to tour, but well, you don't have to, but we've had the pleasure of doing so. Well, the album's out on the 12th here. We're going to be performing. We're doing it on Valentine's. We're playing London. Then we're flying over to Australia. And we're doing a tour there called Soundwave Festival. It's going to be pretty good because Jane's Addiction are there, one of the headliners. And I'm a big fan. And I've never seen them live. And now they've got the original lineup with Eric Avery on bass as well.
Was first row once.
Oh, wow.
Jane's Addiction was
Never
cool.
had the opportunity of seeing them before. And they were a big reason why we started this band and why I started singing, because Perry Farrell's voice is so weird that I thought that maybe I would have the chance to, I don't have to be a traditional rock singer or whatever, so I can just go with the flow. But After that, we're flying back. We're doing a few gigs here in Europe, touring the UK for a bit, and then flying over to North America, tour some more. Then doing as many summer festivals in Europe as possible. Hopefully, the Energy Festival as well.
Yeah, that would be cool.
In Bavaria.
Yes.
I think it's in Bavaria, isn't it?
It's actually everywhere. We've got it in Hamburg this year.
Oh, you have it in several? Okay.
Berlin, Munich, and Stuttgart. Even.
Okay, yeah.
So lots of work to do.
Well, hopefully it's good work. It's always good festivals, always nice, and there's always a reason for a new good one. So hopefully we can be a part of that, and then it's kind of like these other times when the album's not out yet. We don't know what's going to happen. If all of a sudden if it's going to be really well received, it might be that everything's going to change. It might be that we're going to be playing David Letterman's show every day of the year. I don't know. And that's kind of also the funny and the cool thing about being in the band, that you really don't know. You can plan ahead. I do know where I'm next Halloween. I have a plan, which is kind of scary and crazy. I know exactly what city in the world I'm going to be in nearly a year from now. But everything might change. It's all depending on what happens with the album.
And the final question for this part of the interview, what question would you like to ask yourself as the final question? If you were me.
If let's say that's the toughest question, and when you and I've been a couple of times I've been in a situation where people are asking, "What's the question you hate the most?" And I would say that's the one. But what would I ask for myself? Why don't you quit smoking? And then I would answer it by saying, I'm trying my damnedest, and I will succeed one day, but one step at a time. So that's probably what I'd ask myself.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.